Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you all for joining us today in this event. And we would like to thank AlRashedi for coming and presenting to us here in this collaboration between Bahrain Smart City Society, Bahrain Technology and Business Society, and BIBF. We are delighted to have you. Just a small introduction about Bahrain Smart City Society. We have among us some of the founders of the society. It has been founded about 5 years ago with the aim and objective of pushing for more sustainability and more smartness agendas in our communities in Bahrain. And we work under this umbrella, and we try to, throughout our events, throughout our work, to encourage smarter ways of thinking in our societies to achieve smart cities in Bahrain. I will introduce Mr. Mishal Al, who is also the chairperson of Bahrain Technology and Business Society in Bahrain. Just introduce the society a little bit.
Thank you all for joining us physically and online. Delighted to have you with us today. As Dr. A said, we have a lot of collaboration between the two societies. And maybe the first on the ground collaboration is today's session with Al-Noor A joining us today to talk about smart cities. And this is actually one of the areas that's well defined in our objectives of technology and business societies. Actually, one of the 5 objectives that we have, which we already shared with the Smart City Society. So wish you all the best. Post the event, we will be sharing some documentation, more intro about what is coming within the society, and as well maybe we can share your presentation that we will. Wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Wish you all the best. And I will not introduce her. I'll let her introduce herself because I'm afraid I'm not going to do you justice by introducing you. Yes? So go ahead, please. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rafay. Thank you very much, Ustad Mishal. It's really a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the Smart City Society as well as the Smart Technology Society, Business Technology Society, and the BIBF for hosting us here today. It's my pleasure to talk to all of you about the Smart City Revolution and actually how we are changing and transforming. But to start with, I would like to...
Okay.
No, it's not working.
Okay.
Is it touch?
It's touch screen.
So I'll start by quoting Winston Churchill when he says, "We shape our buildings and thereafter they shape us." It's the same thing with our city. Actually, we shape our city and thereafter it shapes us and our lives. And it's not the big leaps or giant steps. It's the small steps that brings about the lasting change. And that's why, I always like to take small steps at a time in order for us to achieve what we want to or what we aspire to do. And smart cities, actually, it's not a new term that we have. It's very old, actually. We at SAP helping companies for the past 30 years, government, public sector for the past 30 years. And we have over 800 cities globally, which we are actually implementing certain technologies for them, which I will be sharing with you today as an inspiration. And as I said, it's a lifestyle. It's not just, a word that we are saying, smart cities. It's the way we want to conduct ourselves, the way we see ourselves, and the way we evolve. Similar to us when we go to the gym, it's not just one day and we will lose weight. We have to do it consistently. So it's the same thing with the smart cities. If we want to achieve smart city, we have to start with the small steps, and then it comes and it brings about the lasting change. So today, I will be talking about how do we enable actually intelligently connecting people, buildings, and businesses through the smart city. This is the essence of the smart city. And I'll share with you the innovation and the trends within the industry itself, and then the new vision to life. How do we bring about the change, connecting, citizens and businesses? And then how do we listen, learn, and act, take an action for us to bring the framework of the smart city? And how do we collectively, as citizens, and as public sector and businesses, whether it's SMEs or it's large corporations, how do we bring about the change to our country? So I'll start with defining the intelligent future cities. It's sustainable, it's trusted, and it creates livability and prosperity for all, as we all know. And I wanted to share with you the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe. How do they actually define it? It's the innovative city, like, connecting quality of life or bringing quality of life by merging between the communication and technology, which we call the ICT. I see some people from telecommunication here, so definitely it's really important. And actually, in respect to economical, social, cultural, and environmental, aspects to it. It merges between all of them. It's not only one aspect of it. It merges between all the different aspects. And I would like to share some actually facts. Over 60% of the global wealth actually is coming from real estate and from land. And we are noticing a shift from brick and mortar to blockchain and to the metaverse, which is, if I don't know, anyone who doesn't know or know what's the metaverse is? Yes, no? We do. Okay, very nice. It's actually very old technology. It's called the digital twin. It's a combination between the actual and virtual. Like you have this building and you have the digital version of it where actually you could walk, you could change certain aspects of it, you could install certain sensors in order for it to make it smart. So that's the metaverse. And there is a fact, 75% of the infrastructure needed by 2050 is not ready today. So we have a big challenge that we need to address. And because majority of people now, almost 60% by 2030, they will move to urban cities rather than, living in the rural areas. And by 2050, almost 70% of citizens would love to live in a smart, cognitive cities. And those are actually the main challenges for, building a smart city. The complexity is very complex. It's really, it requires a lot of infrastructure and it requires a lot of effort. And the workforce experience is one of them. Like we need experienced people who really are tech savvy and actually understand how the technology is done there. And the citizen expectation, we have very high expectations nowadays. We want everything to be smart. We want to be connected. We want to have visibility on all aspects. Like when I came here, I wanted to see the traffic. And of course, we're using Google Maps, but there are cities actually which can share with you, the traffic and can give you suggestions. And actually, even if you want to locate car park, you can do it also online. You can pay online. So all of this actually is, expectation from our side, but this is also the vision. The vision is to have more sustainable city. And sustainability, of course, it comes across the value chain. It's not only in one area or one aspect. It has to be ingrained in the foundation of what we do. And of course, the vision is to have the digital twin. Any building we have, I want to have my actual physical building, but I want also to have my digital version of it. And the autonomous operations in terms of all the services, all the government services, they are touchless, they are speedy, they are tracked and traced. So everything is really very smart and agile, which of course enables us to have experience management, superior experience management. So all of those actually are bringing to us what are the strategic drivers from the efficiency and cost, performance improvement, digital infrastructure for all those sustainable, landscape for us to build all the infrastructure and technologies, citizen experience, and the cloud connected city with businesses and people and facilities. This is already happening in our neighbor. So Lyon is the new cognitive city where they are building it from scratch. Everything on the cloud. They want it to be sustainable. They want all the logistics to be digitized and connected. You have a map, you can see exactly where is all the shipments coming, how is the logistics is done, predictive maintenance. Everything is super, super smart. And it's also, they are from now embedding all the sustainability topics and aspects part of it. So we can learn from that how to actually start, but I will show you later on that small steps that we can, do and change. So how do we actually bring the value for the smart city or for our city here? Through innovate services processes, we need to, find and actually merge between all those different services and, achieve operational excellence. And this is from education, from healthcare, from construction, from financial services, retail, utilities, all the different, smart city is not one industry. It's across different industries. So if we want to do it, it has to be all connected and interlinked. As I said, we can start anywhere and everywhere. However, we have 5 main foundations for it, for the smart city. We need to have the governance, the citizen and living, the mobility, and environment, infrastructure, and the economy. And I'll give you examples of each one of those. For example, if we look into the governance, the data is really important. And having harmonized, anonymized data, master data is really important. And the workforce management, how do we manage the workforce? When it comes to the citizen and living, when we had COVID earlier, of course, we needed to provide a tracking system. We needed to provide the vaccine center, for citizens, the air quality. Some of the countries actually are measuring the air quality and they are complying with the regulations not to exceed certain CO2 emission. Smart parking when it comes to mobility, smart traffic, flood management, street lighting, the pipes as well for the maintenance. There is a predictive maintenance for it where actually it can be preventative maintenance rather than reactive maintenance. So this can reduce the cost. And when it comes to the economy, of course, we don't have tax here, but some of the countries, they have tax, and actually there is intelligent taxation where actually it can be done in a very streamlined and agile way online. And those are the key use cases when it comes to the smart cities. From digital core, you need to have the digital core, which is the cloud infrastructure. And you need to have the dashboards for the city. Like for me, if I am a government body entity, I want to see a holistic view of my country, of my city. How is it managed? How is the reporting? How can I reduce the cost in certain area? How can I improve the economy? All of those actually, the data coming from different separate systems and different government and entities. So by having this intelligence in a one single platform, then this gives us power where we could leverage the most of resources. It could be resource sharing. It could be, revenue increase for certain sectors. It could be efficiency when it comes to the livability and how people are actually getting the services from the government and vice versa. And of course, the engagement with the citizens is really important. So we need to have a platform where everybody is connected. If you need anything, you could have, your mobile app and you can report it immediately and you can get the service. Smart metering, smart waste, smart assets, and mobility, all of them smart, and actually those are opportunities for businesses here to start looking into those different areas of business, how to actually implement and install those smart, services Like I was visiting my friend in Luxembourg, and actually she told me we have only once a week they come and collect the waste from us. So she was complaining like she used to live in Qatar. We have freedom and flexibility, but for them, no, it's a smart. There is a certain point you have to classify all the waste, but this is very sustainable. And she gave me very nice examples of Luxembourg, which made me think like it's really very nice city to live in. The quality of life is really high. She said, kids, when they go to school, all of them wear the same, regardless of their class. And all schools are free, like it's private or public or whatever, all the schools are free. And not only this, they have a free classes to art, they have free classes to to dancing, to playing instruments, to different things, which made me think like, wow, this is really interesting and it's really nice. It's part of the smart city. And how do you make the quality of life very, I would say, interactive, and at the same time, given opportunities, inclusion for all the kids, which is really very, inspiring, I would say. And here are some of the examples that we have from across the globe. So I give you some of the examples. For example, Nanjing, they have a smart traffic and lighting at the city installed. Barcelona, they have a tourist mobile app for all the tourists. Brussels, those are actually some of the smart city technology that we have implemented for those countries. Public transport optimization, Cape Town, data sharing for emergency services. So all the emergency services, are actually tracked and traced across the city. If we look into Novo Mesto, this is in Slovenia. It's a city where actually the deputy mayor was saying, it's our responsibility if we want to promote a lifestyle of a smart city, then of course we need to build the infrastructure. Like I can't tell my citizen go and buy electrical cars and I don't have electrical station and actually also parking with, charging the cars. So definitely the infrastructure is very much needed. Like I can build the city and I can educate my citizens, but at the same time, I need to build those services around it. It's not like just one block and that's it. It has to be a complete. And that's why it's a partnership between us and the government. As citizens, we change the way we think. And at the same time, the government also to provide this infrastructure. So when it comes to mobility, as I said, like it has to be connected, like all the traffic, all the cities. Like when you drive in Europe, the cars actually is connected with the traffic. Like if the speed changes, the car alerts you and gives you exactly you need to, actually the car was stopping and the speed is going down. So you feel it. It's a smart mobility thing, which I think it's really nice because sometimes you forget when you drive, like you exceeded the limit. So actually you get the notification for this. The shared actually vehicles or bicycles in Europe, I think we're witnessing it even in Dubai now when you go. So definitely this is something available, electrical and clean. The city of Zug actually, they have implemented also mobility. And the mobility is to monitor the traffic, see exactly what are the areas, finding the space for car park, paying for it. Also, all the registration and all the services is done through mobility and app. When it comes to citizens and living, also we have a different areas from citizen-centric inclusiveness, like for the people with special needs, health engagement, and how to monitor the happiness or the quality of life for the citizens. For example, the Christian Church City Council, what they have actually did, they digitized all their government services. I think it's around 46 different municipal services. All of them has been digitized and done within, the system. The canton of Zurich, actually, what they did during COVID, they required to build a system actually to help citizens for their rent. It was subsidized at that point in time, and they needed immediately to start relieving the citizens. So they've implemented it, and actually we did it in less than 2 weeks. In less than 2 weeks, the system was up and running, and actually more than 1 million, customers were relieved from paying the rent. So this was the power of technology in actually enabling a smart city and enabling citizens as well to live in a more comfortable life. The North South Wales Rural Fire Services, this is in Australia. Actually, they are having a pool of volunteers for firefighting. Like when there is a fire in the roofs, they need actually to qualify the people, and they need to start gathering those, credentials for them. So how do they actually classify and ensure they are eligible to go and actually do the firework? So the system actually enables them to track and trace and actually to qualify, the candidates, and then this is done in a very smart way. Like they have approved people, they got the notification, they can immediately go and start, doing the work. So it's very it can happen for fires. It can happen for even security services connected with the Ministry of Interior. So it's not only for thief as well. So the city can be more secure, more healthy, and at the same time, safe. The environment and the infrastructure, of course, the infrastructure and the environment sustainability topic is really important and embedded. Having resilience, ensuring a green life is all embedded. So we have the city of San Diego. What they have done, they've installed sensors, and actually they can actually monitor the firefighters' pressurization. So they can monitor the pressure of them, and they can know exactly if there is an accident. So they can go and perform the service without anybody actually calling. From the first moment, when it triggers, there is an alert. The city of the Cape Town, they have installed field management services. If there is any, issue, the road maintenance, they got notified, and then they can send people to the site to fix the problem. The Swiss Federal Railways as well, they have a preventative maintenance for the hardware, for the assets, to change the railway and to change the battery, to change, the Dragon, and to do all the maintenance, and all of it, it's preventative, and it's, with IoT enabled and sensors, as well as cameras installed around. So it captures all the data, and actually it makes it more safe and at the same time more efficient for the processing as well as for the cost and maintenance. So the smart waste management is something across the globe, and it's really important because it's part of the sustainability for the classification of the waste, and it's done with sensors inside those. So also when they are filled, the government would know that they would need to clean them up. And the smart lighting, the street lighting, actually the noise is not only from the noise itself, it's also from the lighting. So for public safety and security, the traffic management and the waste management is all done in a very digital twin, like you can see exactly each area. You can monitor the city itself, monitor all the different energy efficiency as well, with dashboards, with intelligence that makes you make quick decision making. Same thing with the bridge in Norway. they are installing sensors, so they know if there is any risk that they need to replace certain parts or they need to start maintaining them. So definitely, it's very inspiring also, application that they are doing with the digital twin. They see exactly how it looks like and how is the maintenance, and people can actually simulate and do what if scenarios. What if we change the material? What if we change the maintenance timing? It gives them the full visibility and gives them the cost as well as the time. And if you like, it's the 6D model, combining all the different data. Energy efficiency, SBB Swiss Rail also implemented this smart predictive maintenance for the assets. And when it comes to the economy, of course, compliance and circular transparency and prosperity is all really important. And for the government to make sure all the processes are actually in compliance with the rules and policy, having actually a system that enables them to track and trace all the processes is really a necessity. So we have the Queenlands, actually, they have digitized their entire processes and services. Similarly, with the city of Edamont, they've also implemented end-to-end procurement system for them to ensure compliance with the processes. And when it comes to the governance, the city of Copenhagen, they are doing also end-to-end digitization for the infrastructure for the city, monitoring all the city and the entire ecosystem, which makes it more trusted and at the same time collaborative. There is a new shift, which is the B2B marketplace. They are affecting around 75% of the products and services that is regular with being purchased through the B2B marketplace. Like you don't need really to buy everything from here. You can have a business-to-business marketplace, and then you can transact things and order things from around the globe. We have an example. We have a business network at SAP. Actually, it's free for all businesses to use. And during COVID, actually, we received a request for immediate 500 beds to be provided for one of the hospitals. And it's like in less than half an hour through the business network, we've addressed their business needs, their requirements for the 500 beds. Sometimes it's very powerful because we don't have everything here. Same thing with medicines. So when you have a business network, actually it enables you, it makes the world smaller and enables you to procure and source from anywhere. So listen, learn, and act. How do we build a trusted city? We need a digitized infrastructure. It's something we cannot live with. And actually for us, we do have different systems, different governments, different documents, a lot of manual work, which can be also eliminated. So you can see it's a spaghetti. And collaboration between designers, owners, authorities, service providers, engineers, it's really, really very complex. And it's not, it is complex, but there is a solution. We have the digital twin, or, a digital platform where we can connect all of them. But this has to go all in the cloud. So there is a transformation around the globe now. People are moving to the cloud for a reason. Not because having on-prem solution is more expensive, because you would need to have hardware and software and implementation services. The total cost of ownership is more expensive, but also a necessity because everything is changing. We need to move to the cloud in order for us to be able to connect to any different entity. And actually, we have three main pillars that we need to address. we need to plan, from planning to retirement, the digital thread, like any asset right now is owned by a government or it's owned by a business. You need to track and trace that assets from the moment you are planning to acquire it until you retire that asset. And it's not only this, you need also to ensure that, for example, it's sustainable. Definitely planning this across the engineering value across is really important. The second dimension is you need to have a digital twin for you to be able actually to visualize and to interrupt data. And also you could have a what if scenario if you change certain elements. So it enables you actually to be more agile when you want to change your business model. If you have a digital twin, you can change certain elements and you can actually see how this would impact your P&L, easily without even doing the thing actually. Or if you have a building and you want to refurbish the building, then definitely the digital twin would enable you to walk in the building, change the wall, change the floor, change everything, and then see it and visualize it without even starting it and initiating it. So definitely it's a new technology that enables us to imagine and actually live in the moment and in the change. And collaboration when it comes to collaborating among ourselves for digital and actually for our safety as well. If we can track and trace all the different, premises and building and people. So definitely not only the documents and the transactions, the entire thing. As I said, it's actually starting from the moment you start the engineering for the project or the process or the policy until the construction, and then maintaining the asset information and operating and maintaining it until the retirement. So you need to have the full value chain covering the entire business capabilities with visualization, with smart technology until the disposal, the end-to-end thread. We call it the digital thread. And this is the future, the way we want to imagine our future. We want to have control over our destiny. We want to have a nice vision, like we could combine any sort of technology without the need actually to have a lot of customization, whether it's GIS, CAD, business information modeling, anything. It can be all combined and you can visualize the work, you can change and shift certain things, and you can actually control and monitor and give instructions, autonomous operations, efficiency, all of that come with this view. But that's not it. Actually, sustainability is really important. So I wanted to touch base on it as well. From recording, reporting, and acting on those information is really important and has to be in compliance with, the regulations. And as I said, it has to cover the entire value chain, especially when it comes to sustainable engineering and construction, environment system and construction, because almost 40% of the emission actually is coming from construction. And, the same thing with sustainable assets and building operations is really important and key for us to actually start controlling it. And it's coming from disparate systems. So if we don't cover the entire value chain from sourcing until disposal, then definitely we're missing a lot of information. And just a motivation, I would say, as per the GLL report, the buildings, the green buildings, actually, they are 20% higher in value. Same thing for the rent, when you actually buy them, they are more expensive, like they're 20%, and people or customers are willing to pay 20% for it because it is sustainable. The rent actually is more by 8 to 18% more if you are actually renting a sustainable building. So it is really important. Personally, I would love to be in a sustainable building. And the future of a smart city is there are different elements. We're connecting intelligently through the data, big data, the IoT, blockchain, machine learning, connecting the people. And of course, we're connecting the people with the network, environment, collaboration, and mobility, the buildings, the digital twin, IoT, and the business information modeling, or what we call the BIM, and the businesses, having innovative business model, compliance, real time, and business processes all connected together. But of course, I will be sharing this with you. I don't need to memorize it. You don't need to memorize it, but I think there are 10 keys for us to unlock the formula if we want to initiate the Smart City Foundation. It's a start with the system integrators, how to build it. And then, you need to integrate the business technology, all the platform, which is the cloud foundation. But we have a big thing happening, which is transforming from enterprise resource planning, ERP system. Any organization has ERP system. Now it's changing into ESG, economic, social, and governance. So this is a big shift, especially for the new millennia who are going to work. They wouldn't experience the ERP, they would experience ESG, and exploiting the IoT, ensuring that Internet of Things is embedded across all different things. But you need actually customer experience, citizen experience, business experience. All the experience has to be managed, because we don't want less. We want everything to be up to the standard and high quality. And of course, this gives a trusted digital infrastructure and digital twin. But we have everything in the metaverse where you can see it with the 3D printing, and introducing robotics and chatbot, activities. Like this is happening in NEOM actually. For their processes, they have a chatbot, and they can tell the chatbot what to do. So for them, it's more of monitoring and making smart business decision making rather than doing the actual manual work. And the blockchain is really important for smart contracts, because contracts are shifting from the ordinary way to smart contracts where we can track and trace every single milestone delivered. By this, I would like to conclude. I hope it was clear. I know it's a very, I would say, wide topic, but I tried to give a lot of examples, basically, just to give you the flavor of what is the smart city. And in the end, to be honest, we could start small from anywhere with anything. We don't need really to start shifting and changing everything. We can start from our homes, making it more smart, and then we can do it for our business and for our city. Thank you very much, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Can I have the honor of the first question? To just keep the dice rolling. I just want to ask, do you think, in your opinion, because I'm very much fascinated with the idea of digital twinning. So do you think today digital twinning of cities is I would say, a requirement for the establishment of smart cities? Like, is it becoming an essential thing to have a smarter city?
It is not, I would say, mandatory. It is something would be in the future. Like if you want to have a smart city, of course, for you, you're asking me this question. Personally, I think, yes, we should. And why is that? Because if I want to monitor the entire landscape, of course, how can I monitor everything? I cannot, right? So I would need really to stimulate and gather all the data and then have it in front of me in terms of reporting and dashboards. So definitely having the ability actually not only to see the data, but also to visualize actual processes and buildings and different things, definitely, I think it would be much more effective. I don't know, what do you think, guys? Maybe Ustad Saleh would share something. Ustad Mashal. يعني دكتورة فالي brought the gurus in the industry. I'm very humbled.
Where it's useful for seaports. where you need to simulate there's dangerous operations. So that's the place where, yeah, it would be good to see how the different cranes are working. So that's, but I don't, do we need to have for the roads and the.
For the roads and buildings, yes, because for the maintenance. So maybe it's not necessary for everyone to have visibility in terms of the digital twin, but for people who are maintaining the field services, in order for them to maintain the service level, they would need really to see, okay, I have this resource now. So it's like digital assigning for certain people to go and do the work. If there is something, I showed the example of the bridge earlier. If there is something, it's risk. So definitely with the sensor, if there is a trigger, then I can see exactly where is this happening, and I can send the team. The team can start, fixing and maintaining the assets. So definitely for certain areas, yes, it is necessary. But other areas, maybe not. Airports is the same thing with the, airports maintenance, the towers, and for telco as well. I think it's the same thing. So it depends if you. It is a very good, I would say, technology for, especially for construction. You want to see how the building would look like in the future. So that's why we have the metaverse now. And in Dubai, if you buy a villa, for example, they would give you your title of deed as the actual, and they would give you the title of deed as physical as well. And we just heard like we will have a passport, digital passport as the first country. We're very proud to be the first. Actually, this is the same concept, as the metaverse, to be honest. Like we could travel with our e-passport. So we see steps already ahead in that space, and I think it's happening.
Yeah, I think this idea of risk is particularly important for digital twinning, because whatever we want to test on the digital twin is something that is of risk in the physical environment. That's why we try it.
Very true.
I have so many questions. I will maybe.
We are allowing you only two.
But I think you've answered most of the ethical questions throughout the presentation. Thank you. But actually, when you presented what other countries are doing, that's where we stand. What we need to really start this kind of big initiative. It's as a piece of everything, and doesn't require a special entity. You gave us examples of other cities, and you gave specific examples. I wanted to know, does those cities have specific objectives, so they do them as cities and then they focus on certain areas, or they are good at everything? And you just showed us examples.
It's inspirational. Each city is different, and each. Based on how we take the first steps, very for us to build the building blocks in order for us to where we want to be. Like I gave an example of Neom. Saudi Arabia, if you would compare it with Bahrain, maybe we have more digital infrastructure than they are. And, you compare Bahrain to Riyadh or, the traffic, it's much more manageable here than there. A lot of services here than there. However, they are starting it with a vision of 2030 from, the rulers, the leaders of the country. They want to have this city, like New York, to be cognitive from scratch. So it doesn't have to happen really everywhere, but you could start with a small steps, small areas. Like for that, NEOM is a huge, it's a country size, but it's harder to do it on legacy. If you like, it's not a great field like NEOM. So it's more difficult. If you have a house and you want to renovate that house, it's easier to buy a land and build it rather than fixing and refurbishing an old house. So it's the same concept. So we need to start like maybe little by little. That's why I started with the small steps, because I don't want to scare anyone. We don't have to do everything tomorrow. It's just we have to start somewhere.
We have a question from the online. I think Mr. Ish. I answered one. Oh, you answered one. Sorry.
I have one question. Did I ask only one?
No, you have another question. Go ahead before we allow the.
I wanted to ask about, talking about sustainability as well. Another dimension is technology and the role of technology. We don't want to be locked in with this.
Sure.
How governments or landlords actually governing this piece of critical component that are not having dependencies on SAP or Microsoft, because this will change.
Yes, of course. It's not actually, I want to show you this. You're not depending on, and this is the beauty. Like the future, when you have the card, it's agnostic. Really, for example, SAP. But I'm telling you, if you come to me, you tell me I want to still continue using my whatever system, XYZ system, you still can continue with it. IoT, you can choose any partner and you can build it with the system. So it's your choice. We are not dictating a technology or a partner or any specific thing. You can, it's open, it's in the cloud. So you would be worried actually if the competition or another partner would tell you no, would cost you a lot to customize and to integrate. So it's usually it's evaluated based on those things.
And for corporates, it might be acceptable. It's risk almost.
True.
But for countries, we cannot afford this.
Of course not.
It has to be well
It has to be
defined.
open system.
Exactly.
Open system. And that's what we pride ourselves with. It's an open system.
خلاص.
There is a question, two questions.
So we have online first. Let's take one online, if you allow us. Yeah. I think Mr. Hisham online wants to ask a question.
From telecom.
Sure.
You can-
مساء الخير جميعا, and Ustad Al-Noor, thank you so much for the very informative presentation.
Thank you.
It's more of a suggestion than a question. I think, in my opinion, we need to build a smart city regulatory framework by working with entities such as RERA in this case. It's very imperative to propose updating the existing building code we have to incorporate smart city for all urban upcoming new urban planning areas. So the examples that you have given, similar to what was done with our neighbors in Neom City and Dubai. Such thing happened with the regulatory changes, where a drastic shift happened in the building code toward more of an ESG and smart cities. I don't know, what is your take on that?
Very well said, Ustad Hisham. Yes, definitely. And the business coding or the building coding is something also we are having currently as a technology. And it's a mandatory requirement by some of the cities or some of the professional public sector, requirements. So definitely this is really important. Having a framework is important to establish smart cities. So definitely we could start from anywhere, but we need to have a guidance. We need to have a framework. And that's why also I shared, earlier the framework, like how do we start about going, through this process, because it's not a small process. Definitely it requires all of us. It's a change of lifestyle. So if we want to change our lifestyle, then definitely we have to collectively work together and see our future, our kids' future, how it would look like. How do we preserve the country? How do we make sure that we are actually having a cognitive city that will bring us what we aspire for. So definitely I echo what you have said in terms of having a framework and starting the building information codes classification. It's the master data, basically. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So one of the key concerns with digitalization and technology is that concerning privacy and security, it's a concern from public. So without even the complete implementation of CBDC, you can see some of the public, they feel that the governing bodies are taking advantage of their assets and like, for example, like Canada, in China, and many other countries. How would you state, like, what would be your comment with the public's concern towards this?
In terms of system security.
Yeah.
So definitely cybersecurity attacks is the major cause of.
Especially from the governing bodies. As they
Exactly. Exactly. So it's the system and how secure the system is. So definitely. And having a lot of different systems might be nice, might be cheap, it might be very expensive in the long term. And, you know, I don't want to do marketing for what we do, but we work with Ministry of Interiors across the globe. All Aramco is managed end to end by our technology, Neon, our technology. So definitely there are a certain security framework that we work in accordance with, complying with the global best practices. So definitely choosing of any system, it's not only about functionalities and nice to have. Maybe our system wouldn't address 100% of all the business needs, but it's secure, it is trusted, it's proven, and it's global, and it has all the best practices. So sometimes you need to weigh those things when it comes to the selection and also the hosting. Like when you are hosting certain things, where do you want to host it? You know, we have certain mandatory requirements, for example, to host in country or in a specific countries. So definitely complying with all those regulatory requirements is essential and important. The TRA compliance is very important, and all of those has to be addressed in any of the selection for the technology. Thank you for the question.
Right. So you mentioned this technological shift from legacy systems to new systems, like from ERP to ESG, as well as the cutting edge tools like ANSYS and GIS technology, as well as the digital twinning technology. What do you think is the role of the government in reskilling the existing workforce to implement these new industry-leading tools, as well as orienting the citizens on adopting these new ways of life?
We have educating bodies as well, Dr. Sheikh. I think you are working towards increasing awareness and actually influencing the curriculum for the universities in Bahrain to ensure our actually graduates are aware of all of those requirements, and actually it's coming from the new millennia. They want everything to be sustainable. So even if we don't have it, we will be forced to do it in the future because this is a demand, this is a requirement, like the customer experience. Like this is the minimum that we expect. And hence, I'm not really worried. We have advocates everywhere who are actually looking for this technology, and they want to adopt it as soon as it's available, or at least make it happen.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Please, yes.
Thank you for grabbing our attention from the first slide. We as individual or enterprises, how, with the help of the government, how we can take those steps, baby steps towards the smart cities. The need of the regulatory or framework. How together we can get something to the next step. The most difficult part is how gather all those ideas, different solutions, different smart ideas into futuristic one. How, from your experience, how that happened?
Thank you for the question, Ustad Mahmoud. I think this is really interesting because we've touched base on we need a smart city body to establish the framework. Definitely, I think it's needed. I don't know whether it's Ministry of Housing or Ministry of Finance should do it, or there should be a new ministry maybe to do it. So definitely, smart city is a very big topic, and as I shared earlier, it touches all different sectors: education, healthcare, businesses, telecommunication, finance, insurance, electricity. Everywhere you go, it touches all of them. So definitely, we have to have framework for it. Telecommunication as a body, actually, the example that I have showed in Slovenia, actually, it was done with their Slovenian telecom company. Like they were actually implementing those services along with our technology. So definitely, there would be a lot of collaboration with different bodies across. It's not only one entity. It's not one product. It's not because there are a lot of different topics. From waste, lighting, electricity, maintenance, education. There are a lot of, it's this huge ocean. So it requires all of us, even as small businesses, I'm not talking only large enterprises here, to actually contribute this change. I hope I answered your question. It's really, I don't have a straight answer, but.
I'm thinking of pilot study project to get the ball running, something that is low budget that can be implemented, can even be done by research universities in Bahrain. So I have a question, and I want to seek your agreement or disagreement. Do you agree that maybe for the planning for at least traffic at the moment, the traffic light systems, is this maybe a good place to break the ice about smart cities that doesn't need huge startup capital, or are there other points of entry? Because we're like, I don't know what we're talking about legacy systems, but not update systems. So there must be like some entry point that is easy to kind of break the ice and get people running. So I was thinking transportation and traffic. Do you have any idea?
Well, I wouldn't disregard or discredit what must be done. I think we already have roads with cameras installed across the country, which makes us all safe. And we're appreciative of what we've got today. And I think we have more room. We have room for more. Definitely, Ministry of Traffic or Interior could do much more. Obviously, all different entities, even we as individuals, we could do more. Traffic monitoring can be car parking, services like reporting certain things immediately. We do have hotline, but still this can be taken to the next steps. So always there would be room for improvement, and we can start anywhere. To be honest, like each government, each I would say ministry can start with certain initiatives to do this. I see some initiatives going on in the country, which I think it's really great, and it makes us happy to see those things. As I said, like the passport, I think it's nice. It's not nice. It's really great thing to have actually as the first digital passport. But definitely there are a lot of different ideas, and it requires all of us to think and brainstorm and bringing out new nice ideas to life.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll have the last question from Ahmed, and then we'll wrap up.
Synchronization of the traffic lights. At the moment, what happens in Bahrain is that you pass red, green, red, so it's just synchronized. That causes a lot of batching. The second point is that simulation of traffic. Unfortunately, the Ministry of Works here, they don't use computers, supercomputers to simulate the traffic pattern. What they do is that they monitor it and they go to underground or flyover, whatever it is, but not based on a study or whatever it is, unfortunately. And the third point is regarding data collection of about the status of the roads. We have a lot of problems with maintenance. And at the moment, citizens are asked to go and report potholes or whatever problems with the roads.
Yeah.
And what I understood from previous lecture of big data, that one of the big companies, software company, actually what they do, they put like a scanner at the bottom of the front of many cars, and these cars roam around.
Yes.
The data is collected, then analyzed, and it gives you an idea of if there are any defects with the roads. So you prioritize your maintenance based on the information you collect rather than on the.
Preventative maintenance, proactive, yeah.
So it's not a question.
Thank you for